Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. In today's video we are continuing our series doing our top 100s. This is my son Joel and he's got a YouTube channel called FoxEatingNintendo. As before, we're going to be doing this in batches of 10 and we're not going into the level of this song is ever so slightly better than the other. It's just that we put these songs a little bit lower than the rest of the things in our list. This is our second time of having to record this because the recording failed just as we'd finished. This explains this face because he's not happy about having to record it a second time. I'm kicking off this set, so my first pick on here is by a dance artist. I'm not a dance music fan, but I do like Avicii. I think he's a class act. He's a cut above the rest. And I've picked Trouble from the Stories album. I know you like this song a lot, don't you?
Yes.
Whether or not it will appear later on in his list or indeed in a later video, we shall wait and see. But Trouble by Avicii.
My first song is by Gary Barlow. It is Who's Driving This Thing?
From Music Played by Humans. I'm claiming credit for that because I put that on a Best Songs of 2020. It was in my list of Best Albums of the Year, Music Played by Humans. It's a swing album. It's all written by Barlow. And Who's Driving This Thing is just pure fun, actually. A really good song. I like it a lot. My next pick is by my favourite artist, but with his second band. It's Paul McCartney and Wings and Band on the Run. From the album Band on the Run. #1 in America, #3 in the UK. Band on the Run, if you've watched any of my McCartney videos, you'll know it's my favourite McCartney album. And it's just a peerless song. It's stitched together. You like it as well, don't you? It just wouldn't be in your top 100.
Definitely.
But it's a great song, Band on the Run.
So my next song is by Pet Shop Boys. I know he likes it. And it is Being Boring.
I'm claiming credit for that because that was on a Generation Mix CD. We haven't yet done that episode actually, so spoilers for people who have been listening to the audio as well. We've got a Pet Shop Boys one coming up. Being Boring is a phenomenal song and it might just be appearing in a later video on my list, but we shall have to wait and see where. My next pick is by a band that came out of the ashes of the House Martins. It is The Beautiful South. And this is comfortably my favourite Beautiful South song from my favourite Beautiful South album. It is Just a Few Things That I Ain't from the Gaze album, which I think is criminally overlooked. Just a Few Things That I Ain't is almost a patter song. We've talked about those on previous videos that we've done, where the delivery of the lyrics is such that this is almost like something like Modern Major General. Great song. You like it as well, don't you? It was your favourite when we did the Generation Mix episode of Paul Heaton.
Yeah. My next track is from a video game, being Celeste, and it is Reach for the Summit by Lena Raine.
Now, I have no idea what this is.
Now, we've previously had a song from Celeste, which is Madeline and Theo. And I mentioned a soft acoustic version of another track from the thing in the foreground.
Okay,
song.
And this is that track, is it?
And this is that track.
Okay.
I have a slight problem with it, is that it's 9 minutes and the last 2 minutes are... I'm pretty sure the first 2 minutes with some very, very minor differences.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's been done in classical music for generations. Mike Oldfield does it. It's a theme from a game. It's like a theme from a film. They often return to it. I mean, for example, Avengers. How many times they use that Avengers theme? My next pick is an 8-minute epic with 8 verses. It's a genuine classic of rock music. It's American Pie by Don McLean. The song that charts the history of music from the death of Buddy Holly through to the end of the 60s. You've got characters like the Joker, which is Bob Dylan, the marching band, which are the Beatles. There's references to the Stones and Elvis. It's an incredible song. American Pie.
So my next song is by One Republic. I'm fairly iffy.
Never heard of One Republic.
On several One Republic songs because it's one of my best friend's favourite bands. So me and him listen to music together every now and again, and of course he puts on One Republic songs. I'm fairly iffy on them, but this one I really like, and it's Counting Stars.
Okay, I don't know the song.
You have heard it, I'm sure you have.
It's clearly not burrowed in at any point. My next pick is again Paul McCartney and Wings from 1973. I think this is probably peak McCartney solo year because this is Live and Let Die. They're from the Bond theme. Absolutely incredible song. It's frenetic, it's slow in parts, it's got a little bit of reggae in it, and it lives outside of McCartney's solo career as an admired song. It was covered by Guns N' Roses on Use Your Illusion 1 and was a chart hit on both sides of the Atlantic. A bigger chart hit than McCartney himself had with it. It's a brilliant song, Live and Let Die.
So my next song is a YouTube song.
From gaming to YouTube.
And it is Empty by
Oh,
Boy in
okay,
a
I know what
Band
this is.
and Jade Animations.
A song that so far I have to say I don't like, but I admire the idea and the writing behind it. So she suffered from anorexia and this was an appeal kind of song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very dark material, actually.
Yeah.
My next pick is by Squeeze from the album Argy Bargy 1980. It is another nail in my heart. Comfortably my favourite Squeeze song. I think it's your favourite Squeeze song from when we did a generation mix on it. It's just a great pop song.
My next song is possibly on his, but I don't know. It's Show Must Go On by Queen.
Final track from Innuendo. Final single released in Freddie's lifetime. And knowing that he was at death's door and recorded that vocal gets me every time. It's an incredible vocal on a fantastic song. It's emotional as well. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Whether or not it's on my list, you'll have to watch later videos to find out. My next pick is, I believe, this artist's masterpiece. It's a 6-minute long, incredible song that I actually put on a CD that I made for your mum before we were married. I did it as a mix CD for your mum. It's Tiny Dancer by Elton John.
Yeah, this was on my long list.
This is from the Madman Across the Water album. It's the best known track from that album. I did actually pick the title track way back in the first video that we've done on this subject. It's a great album, but this is Elton John's masterpiece. Tiny Dancer.
So my next track is very important to me.
Right.
And it is Expressions of Your Love by Rebecca St. James.
Okay. Are you going to explain why it's important to you?
No.
It was an instrumental song in him becoming a Christian.
You didn't have to say it.
I'm proud of that. I like the fact that this is still an important song to you, and it comes as in your top one. It used to be your number one at one point.
Very long time ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, for my next pick, I would like to apologise in advance for the reaction that Joel's going to have. I have picked Walking on a Wire by Richard and Linda Thompson.
Ah! It's so bad! I hate it! Richard Thompson is so bad!
I think the Shoot Out the Lights album, the last thing that he recorded with his now ex-wife, is a terrific album. It's my number one album of the 80s, and Walking on a Wire is a terrific song on that. He didn't like it, naturally.
My next track he's performed.
Okay. That could be a lot of tracks.
In Front of Children.
That sounds wrong. But,
At Ruth's School.
what is it?
Someone You
Shotgun.
Loved
Oh!
by Lewis Capaldi.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have performed that. Really good song, actually. Not top 100 quality for me, but I really like Someone You Loved. It might have been picked by your mum on our holiday CD, which you'll be hearing when we go on holiday.
Really?
My penultimate pick is by the rock band Muse, and it's from Absolution. It's Hysteria. What a song. I mean, that's a banger, isn't it? Might even be on your list, actually.
Yeah, possibly.
Such a great song, and that whole "I Want It Now." I mean, Absolution is a terrific album, anyway, but Hysteria is a terrific song.
Yeah. So my next track is another Lena Rain song, and this time it's from Minecraft, not Celeste.
Oh, crying out loud! It gets worse.
And it is Otherside.
Well, I don't know it. Maybe it's an absolute masterpiece. I don't know.
It's a very rare music disc that you find in game. It's so good.
Well,
I'll force you to hear it.
I've never heard it. It might be an absolute peach of a masterpiece that could crash in at my number 1 spot. I doubt it, but it could be. My last pick for this video is my favourite metal band, Iron Maiden, and it's Wasted Years from the Somewhere in Time album, which I don't particularly care for, but Wasted Years, what a song. Wasted Years, I think even you would like Wasted Years, and you do kind of seem to take against certain kinds of rock music and then discover you liked them after all. We have a Generation Mix episode to be recorded at some point in the future on Iron Maiden, so we shall see how all of that lands. Your last one, Joel.
My last track is by Ed Sheeran.
Okay.
I was expecting a grunt from you then.
Why? I own Ed Sheeran albums.
You
quite like Ed Sheeran.
complained about Ed Sheeran nearly getting a number 1 at Christmas.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. I just don't want him to get more number 1s than the Beatles.
Okay, that's fair.
Because the Beatles are demonstrably better, okay? Than Ed Sheeran's perfectly fine.
Well, it's Beautiful People from number 6 collaboration project.
You included that as your first Joel's Revenge track on
Did
our
I?
podcast, on the Beatles one of all things.
Possibly.
Thereby proving that the Beatles are better than Ed Sheeran. Just like I said. I quite like Beautiful People. I didn't like it when he first played it to me on that podcast, but it's grown. I've grown to like the song quite a bit now, actually. So that concludes the latest video in our top 100. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please remember to hit the like button. Join the subscribers by clicking on the subscribe and the bell for notifications. We'll be back in a fortnight with the next of these, where we'll be covering from 60 through to 51. I'll be back in a week with another video. But until then, thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.